Okay then, so let's make a start. Firstly, welcome to today's webinar. I'd like to run some introductions. So my name is Rhys Lewis. I'm a director here at Revizto based in EMEA, actually in South Wales. And I'm very pleased and excited to be joined today by Adam from CAD Services. So yeah, Adam, maybe you could introduce yourself quickly.
Hello, yes, I'm Adam Horseman. I'm a BIM manager from CAD Services, and we're based in Basildon, Essex.
Perfect, and Adam's our guest speaker today that will be doing all of our presentation. I'm also joined by my colleague Peter Cordier. Morning, Peter.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Peter Cordier. I am an implementation service manager for Revizto, working with the architects and the engineers in the EMEA region.
Perfect, thanks Peter. And Peter will be helping today with answering any questions that we have as we go through today's presentation. So firstly, I just want to do a quick audio check to ensure that you can all hear us okay, and check that the chat section is working. So if you could firstly just pop in your name or the company you're working for, or wherever you're based in the world in the chat dialog at the bottom of your screen, that will tell us that you can hear us okay and you can see everything. And if you do have questions throughout the presentation, then put them in the chat log, and Peter will do his best to answer those as we go through. But we'll have a Q&A towards the end of today's session, which will be recorded and available probably in a couple of days' time. So that will be emailed to you all in a couple of days. So that's pretty much from me. So I'm going to hand over to Adam shortly just to talk to you about how they've been using Revizto within their practice. But for us, it's a really exciting story to hear how they've been using our application as a single source of truth for managing project collaboration in a really efficient and unique way. So without giving too much away, Adam, I'll hand over to you. I'll mute my mic and turn off my video as well, so we can concentrate on what's on the screen.
Okay, excellent. So good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to today's presentation. My name is Adam Horseman. I'm a BIM manager at CAD Services. I've worked with a team for over 15 years now. And in that time, I've experienced a shift in the way we produce and present our information, especially with the need to deliver projects to high levels of BIM. So who are CAD Services and what do we provide? CAD Services is one of the UK's leading BIM and CAD specialists, providing 2D drafting through BIM modelling to BS 1192 and LOD standards. We specialise in 3D MEP services coordination and installation drawings. We've been in the industry for over 30 years now, and we provide a number of services, including Revit, CAD MEP BIM modelling, complete BIM solutions, as-built record drawings, 3D modelling and visualisation, and point cloud scanning and site surveying. We would like to talk to you today about how Revizto has benefited CAD Services and how it allows us to collaborate with our team. Starting things off with automatic export of sheet and model content. Revit is our authoring software of choice, and Revizto allows us to automatically schedule exports of all model and sheet content at a time that's convenient to us. Typically, this is done out of office hours, as we will schedule projects to export from midnight the following day, capturing everything that was worked on the day before. Before Revizto, we used to export projects manually so they could be reviewed for coordination and used in meetings. This was time-consuming, especially with many projects running simultaneously. Revizto frees up our team to focus on more important tasks relating to their job. We have an export view saved in Revit, which with various filters applied, that allows our model to be exported with all of our color settings, so we don't really need any of our team to interact with that. When we come to work the following day, it's all ready to be reviewed. We don't need to worry about someone forgetting to export a model. We know we're looking at the latest content from the day before. Revizto will even give us a notification to let us know that the project has updates. What we love about Revizto is that all of our content, our 3D geometry, our embedded data, and our sheets are all consolidated. We only have to go to one place to review everything that's relating to the project. Versioning is kept with each export, and at any point, we can review older models and sheets that have been exported from previous days, weeks, and months. It's all stored in the cloud. We give our clients access to Revizto so that they can see these daily exports and review the live project. We have a number of clients and remote workers, and with everything syncing up to the cloud, it means that they can all review the content wherever they are. It's also a great way for our clients to see how we are progressing. Once everything's been exported to Revizto, it's time to review the 3D models for spatial coordination. Revizto is our main tool for reviewing the 3D model for spatial coordination. We need to keep an eye over our own model to check that they are clash-free and that maintainable assets are accessible. But we also need to review the evolving models from other trades. Revizto is great for this because of its simple yet powerful navigation system. There are multiple navigation systems to choose. If you're familiar with Navisworks or Revit's control schemes, you can use those. There are even options for gaming controls with W, AS, and D. The controls are quick to learn, which is great for getting our clients underway with reviewing our models. While we are navigating, no matter where we are, we can very quickly cut sections and adjust the cut plane to get a better look at our model. We save views for each level of the building, giving an overview of each floor so that we can quickly jump up and down through the model and review specific areas very quickly. Revizto also allows us to search for specific rooms, providing this information is in the Revit model and selected at export. This allows us to start typing a room name. Revizto will filter the results, and with a simple click, it will teleport us to the room in question. It's important for us to review how much space we have around our assets and to see how far the assets are from one another. Revizto has tools that allow us to do this quickly. The measure tool will snap to a face of an object and will stop when it intersects with another piece of geometry. We also have a quick way of getting minimum distances between two objects, which is great for reviewing things like access. The uncluttered menu bar along the top is very easy to use and gives us all the tools we need to use. We don't need to go hunting through various menus and tabs along a ribbon to get exactly what we need. While the menu and its tools are simple to use, there are more advanced options available too, making navigation in Revizto even quicker for us. For example, we can hold the Alt key and click on a location in the building to be teleported instantly to that location. We can also double click on faces when using the sectioning tool to immediately cut a section on that face, again, saving us more time. While we can navigate freely, sometimes we need to look for specific model elements, and that brings us along to quickly finding items and common properties. While navigating the model is easy, we don't always know where every asset is within the project. This is where Revizto really shines, helping us to find objects quickly. Revizto has a powerful search feature, allowing us to quickly type assets we are looking for and have them highlight in the view. We can then isolate these objects on their own or isolate them in transparency, ghosting out all the other elements within the building. Once filtered this way, we can view the properties so we can see what these assets have in common. Revizto has a fantastic reverse lookup feature where we can double click on any item to bring up all of its embedded data. We can then right click on a particular property and create a search, finding all items with that same property. It's very quick and easy to use. When we find we are making common searches, rather than keep searching for them over and over again, we add them to a search set. These search sets are then synced in the project and everyone else in the project can see them. We also export these models from one Revit project to another. We'd like to talk to you about how we use Revizto to review point clouds of base build services. Typically, for existing buildings, we will first point cloud survey the existing building structure along with any base build MEP services and overlay the scan data in Revizto. If we have received existing base build models, we will use Revizto to fly through the model and check that they are accurate and in line with what is installed on site. If the base build models are incorrect anywhere, we will update the existing services and then use Revizto again to check everything ties up. If we do not have access to base build information, then typically we will model it from the point cloud survey and then use Revizto to validate the geometry. Once we are confident that all of our existing information is up to date, we typically hide the point clouds in Revizto and use our base build models to coordinate our services with. We always leave the scans in Revizto though, so that we can quickly turn them on and off anytime should we need to review them further. And that was a brief overview of how we use point clouds. Moving right along, we'd like to show you how we review data within our models. When working with BIM files, it is important to review the data that is stored within the model. Revizto allows us to review all of this information. On delivery of our projects, many models require COBie data to be present within the maintainable assets. This data can often be overwhelming to look at, especially in meetings, as we only need to review a certain set of properties. We can add our main properties, such as dimensional data and type description, to a favorites list for quick access. We have different favorites lists for different tasks. For example, we have a COBie favorites list, which outline all of our common COBie fields that we want to review. We might also set our favorites to, say, a builder's work list, so we can quickly review our custom Revit parameters relating to hole size and type. Rather than keep referring to the properties window, the currently selected favorites list will show us all this data in the form of a tooltip as we hover over elements with the mouse. This keeps us focused whilst giving us more screen real estate. We offer our clients material takeoffs. This can be broken down into service types and floors. For example, how much hot water pipe work is there in the basement, along with the lengths and sizes. The first thing we do is find out what information is needed from the client. We then set up a favorites list with those properties so that at any time, either ourselves or our client can directly export the relevant information to a CSV to be reviewed in spreadsheet software such as Excel. No design is ever perfect, and it's important for us to capture any issues that may arise and communicate that efficiently with our client and the design team. When our team are modeling and reviewing the design information, any problems they have are recorded using Revizto's issue tracker. The issue tracker has many useful tools, one of which being stamps. The first thing we do when identifying an issue is place a stamp on the view. We have a number of stamps that we use when recording issues on the project. We have a CAD services comment stamp, which we use for issues that we are raising outside of our own team. We also have a CAD services internal review stamp for when we are communicating anything within our own internal team. We also have a set of client stamps, which we ask our clients to use when they have issues that they want to raise with us. After we apply the relevant stamp, we use the markup tools to cloud and note up the view, clearly outlining what the issues are. Revizto's issue tracker allows us to assign specific tasks to specific users on the project, either with our own internal team that are involved in specific areas, or with our clients, with our client or the wider design team. This allows our users to not get bogged down with looking at all of the comments, as they only need to focus on their own. However, they can review all the issues should they need to. Assigned users will be notified via email that they have issues that they need to be reviewed in Revizto. They are also greeted with a notification icon when they launch the software, letting them know that they have issues that they need to review. We can also assign deadlines for when these issues need to be closed out by. This ensures that they are being dealt with efficiently. There are many ways to filter out the comments. When we, we filter them by who they are assigned to, or we can filter them by their category. And the one we use the most is by tag. We use tags in Revizto to assign issues to floors. And when we're reviewing each floor in a meeting, we isolate the relevant issues for that floor. There is a useful live chat feature in the issue tracker that allows us to communicate between all users on the project. This is useful as it's a good way of keeping a record of what decisions have been made while trying to bottom out the issues. We also use this chat feature to attach any documents, such as PDF or additional images that might be relevant to the issue in question. For example, things like RCP drawings showing ceiling levels are useful to be attached, as we can refer to this information quickly rather than searching through folders on our servers. Typically, in our weekly project meetings, we review each floor at a time. The first thing we do is isolate the issues relating to the floor raised by the team. We would then review each problematic area with the client and wider design team. If they can be resolved, comments are added to the chat to that issue to record what was agreed. We also add additional issues that may be brought up as a result of discussions in the meeting. They are also added to the issue tracker using all of the methods I mentioned earlier, stamps, markups, that sort of thing. We use a traffic light system when reviewing the comments. When a comment is initially created, it is open and red. As they are being looked at, they are changed to in progress and are amber. And when they are resolved, they are marked as solved and changed to green. After a follow-up meeting, any items deemed as solved and no longer need to be looked at are then closed to hide them from the other issues in the tracker. After meetings are finished, we have Revizto set up to automatically package up everything that was discussed into a report. Say we have a weekly meeting at 9 AM on a Wednesday. We can have a report automatically be created and sent out that same day, say from about 4 o'clock. We configure the reports to show exactly what we need. It includes our company logo, the name of the project, and the date the meeting took place. We have it set up to exclude any closed items from the issue tracker. The reports give us a clear indication of open, closed, and in progress issues by the coloured strip down the left-hand side of each issue. Any documents or images that were added to the chat for a particular issue are added to the PDF as a clickable download link. We can have the document automatically emailed to recipients of our choosing. We also file a copy on our own servers should we ever need to refer to it, but typically everything we need to be reviewed is already in Revizto. Once areas are coordinated and reviewed, we will create end sheets which we review in Revizto. Being able to review all of our latest drawings in Revizto is great, but an even better way for us to review the sheets is by overlaying them in the 3D model. Any sheets we produce in Revit are automatically overlayable in our 3D model in Revizto. We don't need to align these sheets, it all happens on its own, and it works for sections as well as plans. Sometimes we do not have access to other trades' CAD files in their native format. In these scenarios, we can overlay PDFs directly into Revizto and align them to the building quickly and easily. Revizto gives us anchor points which we can tie to the sheet and then drag those anchor points over the model, aligning the PDF to the building. The whole process only takes about a minute or so. While we produce fully coordinated multi-service models, we break the sheets down into single services for clarity. It is often useful to overlay these single service sheets over other services. For example, we might have a single service sheet showing only ductwork, but want to see how the sheet relates to other services within the project. A great example of this is when we have builders work penetrations. Typically, these drawings only show the architectural background and squares and circles representing the holes, with no other services shown. Using Revizto, we are able to overlay the slab penetrations drawing directly over the model and look at the 3D services below to check how they interact and confirm their alignment. Towards the end of a project, we will start receiving redline markups from site. These are typically hand-drawn over construction issue sheets, or they can be marked up digitally. We can take these markups and overlay them in Revizto to review the model and ensure that we can overlay them in the model and ensure that everything has been updated to reflect what's been installed on site. And that brings us to the end of today's presentation. To summarize, we use Revizto on all of our projects. It allows us to keep everything in one place. It's accessible in the cloud, and all of our users and clients can see them anytime, and it saves us a lot of time. We've already seen some fantastic updates from the platform since we started using it, and we look forward to seeing what the future has in store for Revizto. I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and I welcome any questions. I now hand you back over to Rhys.
Wow, thank you, Adam. That was very, very impressive. I think you put a lot of this stuff together in prep for this presentation because you wanted to cover all of that great stuff that you're doing with Revizto, which is very well presented. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it was very scripted, but I think our main point was trying to cover everything that we sort of use Revizto for and sort of show how we use it in the office, that sort of thing. So. And
so it's difficult, I suppose, for like Peter and myself to sort of demonstrate to the clients what's possible in all of these various use cases. But for me, what's been really exciting to watch is, I mean, how long have you been using Revizto? Just for?
I think it's been about a year and a half now. I think it was pretty much about the start of the pandemic that we got involved with Revizto.
And the user count just sort of crept up, didn't it? Quite quickly, which was great. And I think you've really found your feet. You've been able to get all of that additional value from Revizto to do the things you've been discussing, 2D review, 3D review. And what you did there at the end was, I thought that was fantastic, right? To be able to overlay those construction site redline markups on the model for as-built verification. And that must give, I mean, your clients then receiving that digital information, great confidence to know that that as-built
That's
file
it,
is
and
now actually accurate, right?
that's it. And it's the fact that they can jump into the model at any time and review the sheets and the models at the same time, and they can just validate that what we're giving them is accurate. So it's great for that. I mean, we've certainly we've used Revizto now in so many of our, well, it's pretty much in all of our projects that we would struggle, I think, to not have it accessible to us. So.
Absolutely. Peter, it sounds like you've got a few questions on the tip of your tongue, so we'll start the questions with Peter.
I was just going to say, first of all, actually, I'm very impressed with your usage, and in, you know, I suppose a relatively short space of time. Not that it should take that long to learn Revizto to the level that you're using it. But some of our clients, you know, can take a bit longer to implement it as well as you have. So yeah, well done for that. I was trying to think of questions as you were sort of giving your presentation, but you were sort of giving me less and less things to ask. You know, what have you been doing, because you've implemented it so well. I think there are a couple of things to mention, especially with the site side of things. There is a scope for efficiencies where, if we can get the site guys to actually engage with Revizto and you know, digitally mark up those red line drawings, as opposed to doing it by hand, as you mentioned, that will improve their own processes and help on that side of things.
Exactly. And obviously we know as well that there is an accompanying iPad app, which we haven't heard anyone using it yet on site, but obviously you can take the iPad app and it's essentially the same as the desktop counterpart, and it has all the same tools and features, and these items can be reviewed on site too.
Exactly. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth there, and there's also an ability to actually download all of the information onto the iPad for the field. So if internet is a problem, and you know, I've worked previously with tier 1 contractors where even in the middle of the city of London, you haven't got internet like on this building. It's quite bizarre. So there's a solution for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's right. So I mean, you can definitely do that. Take your tablet out, and there's a variety of them. After this call, actually, I'm heading out on the site with a client. What we're going to be doing then is just sort of adding additional information to their as-built record using this 360 camera. So same use case, but for a sort of a slightly different purpose. But yeah, you can take a picture as well of whatever that issue is to confirm this is what's been installed, just to add additional value to the things that Adam has been saying. So I know that there are a couple of questions that are starting to come through now thick and fast. So just a reminder, in the Q&A box at the bottom, you can ask your questions there.
So I can answer one from Etty. So Etty's asking, can you please explain how you communicate with issues with planners who do not have Revizto? Well, I always say the most efficient and effective way is to give people access, and there are various ways in which you can do that. But if they don't have access, you can actually export a report and email that to people who are outside of the Revizto project. And that's one way of doing it. You can also export an executable file, which basically wraps the whole Revizto project up, and that can then be given to somebody who doesn't need a license or even the software to be installed on the machine. So there are various ways in which you can share information.
Absolutely. And just to add to that point, Peter, for clarity, one thing we didn't touch on is these issues or activities, I like to refer to them as, especially following Adam's use case of the variety of different types of issues that he's creating with the team, is if something needs to then change, and to answer one of the next questions, is the integration with Archicad the same as shown with Revit, is the idea is those tasks then need to be resolved in your authoring software. So within the issue tracker, I don't know whether you have Revit open, Adam, you can show this, or Peter can, but you double click on that issue pin, and regardless if it's a 3D issue or a 2D issue, it will actually take you directly to that 3D cut view in your authoring tool or 2D sheet, which is a massive time saver. Coming back to Etty's question, hi Etty, good to see you on, for connecting with externals in the project. So it's about saving time, avoiding confusion, and just ensuring that clarity is consumed by the whole project team. It's a much quicker and efficient way as opposed to reverting back to email. So in terms of support, Revizto actually means visual check in Latin. We have more and more plugins as the days go by, it seems. So right now, and Peter will correct me if I missed anything, we have direct support for Revit, Navisworks, ArchiCAD, Civil 3D, a number of the Bentley tools, Tekla, the list goes on. We can support IFC, point clouds, as you saw from Adam, but all of these files can be federated into one Revizto project, which is probably the comment that stuck out the most from you, Adam, at the beginning. I scribbled down and tweeted as well. The one
a couple of ones you
missed that point. One thing I love about Revizto is it gives us one place to review all information. That's 2D information, 3D information, and data, regardless of who it's come from and in what format, right? So yeah, Peter, sorry.
Yeah, so in terms of the plugins, Rhino we support as well, which I know some of our designers are using, and some of the sort of flavors of MicroStation, Open Roads and Open Buildings, which a lot of our civil engineers work with. There's a question just before the ArchiCAD question in the chat, which I just wanted to answer from Brandon, I think. So you're asking how quickly is it to apply colors to services? It's very quick. It's very easy to apply colors to things that you're selecting. So it's literally just right-click, color, and then you choose a color. If you're coloring services inside of Revizto, you would, as Adam explained, you would create your search set, which is probably the easiest way to do it. So you would find all of your services that belong to the hot water flow, for example, and then you can override that search set with a color. And there's something which Adam didn't really touch on too much, is something called appearance templates, where you can you can set up an appearance where you override certain services with different colors, and then you can save that as a template and apply that to any camera view that you've got in the model. So probably haven't got enough time today to show you all the details of that, but if you're interested in a demo, I'm sure we can arrange that for you.
Yeah, typically we don't typically use that feature. I mean, the main thing we do is we have in our export view in Revit itself, we will set up a load of filters coloring up all of our services. So we'll have essentially like a template applied to that view of all of our colors applied. And then when the project gets automatically exported overnight, it will look at the colors in that view and automatically apply them in Revizto. So that way, when we start looking at the project in the morning, we won't have services that are funny colors or white, especially if a client's jumping in there, and they haven't, they don't actually want to be applying profiles and stuff. Although you can do it, we tend to set everything up in Revit itself so that it's all done for us.
There's some other good questions that have come through here, and a really important question actually, because Adam's presentation was very to the point, slick, much better than myself. So again, kudos for that. But who is it here? We can see in terms of two questions really. What is your client feedback since you've been using Revizto? What have they said is the most benefit and what's the most beneficial thing to them?
Our clients actually really enjoy using it. We've got a lot of good feedback from it, and we're able to give them licenses and access and move licenses about wherever we need to. The features there are great. I think the overlay in the sheets in Revizto is one of the most impressive features that sort of blows people away. The fact that they can look at a 2D sheet and it's got a plan and a section on it, and they can instantly double click on that section and have it jump straight in the model and overlay that section over the 3D model, and then they can jump back to the 2D sheet again and overlay the plan, and it's all super quick and easy, and it just gives you that bit of extra clarity on what's going on in the drawings.
And to sort of further extend that question, how long does it take to get your client, what I'm guessing is in this sort of au fait in some of these technical tools as yourself, to use Revizto? The question was about implementation, but
it doesn't take that long actually. I mean, we've had people that don't know anything about the platform, and we've given them access, and then we'll sort of set up a meeting quickly, and within sort of half an hour we can get them going with all the basic tools for like reviewing the model, moving around, cutting sections, measuring, that sort of thing. And that's pretty much all it takes. We have the occasional question come up, but but essentially within sort of 20 minutes to half an hour, you're underway, you know, so it is very quick and easy to use.
Excellent. Well, I think there's more questions coming, which is great. So I don't know whether we want to flip back into Revizto, and you can do that, Adam, or Peter can. I think somebody's asked here about in Revizto, the clash detection tool gives thousands of clashes. Is there a way to segregate such clashes or to filter them in some ways? So the short answer is yes. So within you feed, there was another question as well, similar to that about Celebri. So we support BCF and have direct support for Navisworks. So the idea is you push your clashes into Revizto and you decide what comes through. And it's for me, I like to explain it almost like a Google search for types of issues. So in the issue tracker, we can filter based on what we're interested. So we can definitely group by a number of different parameters. Do you have any clashes in this particular project, Adam?
Not synced through. So we would typically do clash reports in Navisworks, and then you can actually sync all of those issues through into the issue tracker. And then we can assign those to specific users using the same methods we discussed earlier. But this particular project file doesn't have any of those reviews in here.
That's fine. So well, we can show on in a second. That's not a problem. But yeah, we can bring those through. And why I like to refer to the issues as activities, the clash is just yet another type of issue, right? So the other thing that's really interesting to mention on those, let me see if I've got one open here. Maybe I'll just flip open my screen quickly, if that's okay with you, Adam.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's have a look. So if I share to this screen, let me know that that comes through okay. Can you see Revizto?
Yeah.
Yep, perfect. So I'm just going to hit on the issue tracker. In this particular demo project, we've got a lot of issues. There's my office door. I was talking to a contractor yesterday that's using Revizto for as-built verification, or as we just discussed. So, you know, this has been installed incorrectly, and I've taken a picture that's been logged. But using the filter key here, you can see these 4,000 issues here. As I just go through these predefined search views, you'll see that number reduces. So if we just take a look at these architectural door clashes and select on that, we can now see that clash that's come through from Navisworks. I'm just going to select another one actually, because traditionally, most people we speak to will receive this in some sort of report, which isn't too engaging. Revizto's issue tracker is based on the XYZ. So what that means is if I click on 2D or 3D, it understands where that particular issue is in the 3D space, but also in the 2D world as well. So all of these drawing sheets that have come through from Tekla, Revit, ArchiCAD, or PDF, that will now understand where those clashes are. So let me just show you that in a slightly different way. I'm going to open up one of my drawing sheets here. Let's go to one of the, let's go to this one, this ground floor plan. I can now use the issue tracker, and then it'll show me all of the issues on the sheet, color-coded as Adam explained, open, in progress, or solved. I can select one of these presets, and that's now showing me where those clashes are that have come in from Navisworks on my architectural floor plan. So now for the first time, you can review clashes in 2D and just work through these level by level. And that's something one of our contractor clients explained to me that really stuck in my mind. So just a really great way to engage the project team to review issues in the way that they're most comfortable with, right? And of course, we can overlay that 2D plan on that view where we have those clashes set up as well. So
I can show the switch back, Reese, if I can show my screen quickly.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to show one other issue as well. So here's a clash from Navisworks, and here's an issue from, or BCF issue from Celebri. So it works in exactly the same way. This preset for demo is quite good because, again, it sort of reinforces the wide use case of our issue tracker. So somebody here's put in a 360 image. So again, site verification, just on-site capture. Somebody's taking a picture on site to verify things have been installed, and there that fire alarm has been installed but not modeled. We're marking up our drawings here as well. Our clashes have come through as we've discussed. And also, this is just to complete the process, I guess, before I hand back across to Peter, is in the issue tracker, I mentioned at the beginning, this is our single source of truth, our digital audit trail. So all commentary about issue 1236 is now here. None of this gets deleted. So we've got a full audit trail that shows who did what, when, where, and why. So if we need to go back to that particular activity, task, request in time, then we can see it here. And none of that can get deleted. So it's logged and available. And I also just want to show you the process of completing that task. So the issue's been logged. In here, the client, I think, asked to remove these columns for a glass balustrade. We can see the issue's been marked as solved. If I now click on 3D, Adam mentioned that him and the team are setting up the schedule to push information into Revizto at a set interval, which you decide. And you see as I switch from the time the issue was created to the most up-to-date information here, we can see that task has now been updated in the model and the drawing, so I can come in here and close that out. All of this is permission dependent. So we'll have you show that switch back now, Peter, and then we'll take one more question. I think we're pretty much there then. So do you want to?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. So can you see my screen? Hopefully you can see my screen with Revit and Revizto, not my emails.
You need to clear that inbox out, Peter, and respond to my emails, please. No, we're seeing the stuff we should be seeing.
You are seeing that. Okay, great. Right, so on this screen, I've got Revit on the left and Revizto on the right. This is the issue tracker. These are issues. I've got some clashes in here that have been synced from Navisworks. So what you need to do first is connect your Revit session to Revizto, and you just click on issue tracker. That'll then make that connection, and then all I need to do here is double click, say I want to find that clash in my Revit model. I just double click on the issue, and that essentially what Revizto does is creates a 3D view called Revizto Isometric, and that section box is exactly the same as the section box around the clash in Revizto. So this is that switchback functionality in a nutshell.
And the same with drawings as well, Peter, right? I don't know if you have a drawing.
Yes, I'm not sure if I've got the same drawings in this Revit file.
You know, I like to put
mechanical model, but it does, so, yeah.
Perfect. All right, well, we've got just a few minutes remaining, so I'll just pop back into the question log whilst we're waiting for those final another question to come through. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, firstly give Adam a thumbs up and a like on LinkedIn or Twitter. That would be greatly appreciated. But more importantly, Revizto is available to everybody. If you want to try Revizto for yourself, then just drop me an email. That will be sent up in the follow-up email, or you can go to revizto.com and request a trial, and one of my team will be more than happy to assist in getting you up to speed to also benefit from the great stuff Adam and his team are doing with Revizto. Do we have any more, Peter? Or we'll thumbs up. Thanks. Very good. That's what we like to see. Perfect.
Yeah,
We're on time, and for the first time, I think we're slightly ahead of ourselves, which was great. Oh, wait, one more. We've got one more. Can we assign different clearances for horizontal and vertical clashes? Peter or Adam?
Yeah, so there are ways in which you can change the way that the section box is created. So I'd have to show you the Navisworks plugin, but you can filter, you can section by neighboring levels, and you can also change the zoom factor of the way that the section box is created in Revizto, if I'm interpreting your question correctly.
Yeah, perfect, Peter. Thank you. Well, look, let's bring the session to a close. Adam, many thanks. Always appreciate you showcasing what you and the business are doing. I think that's insightful for us and in this industry as well. So really appreciate you taking the time today to do that. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. There'll be more sort of learning sessions from our clients soon. If I can see there are a few clients on this call actually that are asking questions and sending emails about some training. So Peter and a number of other people in the team are available to assist with additional training if required. If you're not doing some of the things that Adam and his team are, then just get in touch. Again, if you do want to try Revizto for yourself, then just get in touch. We'd be delighted to help. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. We'll speak to you all soon. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your week wherever you are in the world. It seems we've got quite a global audience today, which is always exciting. So thanks a lot. Take care.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Adam. Thanks, Peter. Bye-bye.